I started working on this prototype, and it started off as something completely different and then morphed into this. So I think we are going to go ahead and do a little tutorial on it. I've been wanting a journal that was a little bit smaller, and originally, you can see here, it was full size, and I didn't really want to do a skinny journal. I'd rather do a square journal. I don't know if you're in the same boat, like you agree, but there's just something about the square size that really works well for me. I don't know. It's probably all in my head, but I like the composition of it. Now, the pages in between are going to be a little bit more on the skinny side. So if you wanted this to be more square, then you know, make the inside pages more square. But I was actually trying to use, so I have these that I printed on just copy paper, and I double-sided printed, and so that I wouldn't waste any, I cut off the border, and then I broke them in half, or, you know, I actually ripped them in half. And that way I could use more than one. And I'm just thinking now I could have folded them this way, because originally I was thinking I was going to do that tall one. So I folded them this way. So definitely if you fold them, as they call hamburger style, you'll definitely be able to get more of a square look. I'm gonna clean up my desk, but first I'm gonna try to put on something to watch. Is there anything you recommend? I feel like everything I put on, I'm like, I think this is Netflix. Maybe, nope, it's Hulu. And I save stuff to watch, but then I don't watch it. And I think I'm gonna try this one. It's called Rivals, and it's with David Tennant, who I love. So I'll let you know how it is. And if you've watched it, let me know down below before I get too far into it. Okay, that did not work out. So we are going to play this instead. I think that cleaning my desk is like giving my brain a warm hug. It is cleaning off the surface so that new ideas can come alive and bloom. Also, another thing that I really love is that I get to reminisce on the little bits on my desk, like this little flip book that we made on our live, or this adorable bundle of scrap fabrics. Isn't it so sweet? A long time ago, a friend had told me how to properly clean. She still is really amazing, and used to do the Condori, is that what it's called? Style cleaning. I don't do it, obviously, but she did that before it was a thing, and she was just amazing. And one tip that she gave me was that, or that has stuck with me, was that you should group all like items and then put it away. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I start cleaning, I can get distracted at those little bits, at those really pretty pieces, at coming up with new ideas on the spot of something to make, or just like being impatient and wanting to start creating and not wanting to clean. And so what I like to do is follow that piece of advice from her, and I put all of the things together that go together, and it makes it so much easier to then put it all in one spot at the end. You probably can't tell really from the video, but the desk definitely needed a little wipe down. It had little pieces of tape and glue stuck on it, and so this is a very welcome cleaning. I'm going to go ahead and change a couple of things on the tutorial side. Since I noticed that my interior wasn't quite square, I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to make it square. And I will give you the measurements in case you want to make yours exactly the same size as mine, but really the concept is the same whether you want to make it smaller or bigger. Sometimes when I start creating, I forget to take a moment and think things through, so to speak. So on this paper, I absolutely love ledger paper. It is, oh man, it is in my heart. Like, just I love it so much. It brings me so much joy. But there are pieces that are cuter, right? Like maybe you like the numbers more, maybe you like the writing more. And so when you are folding, make sure to keep that in mind before you make any decisions. You can always unfold, but especially before you start cutting. We are making this journal to be a trifold in the cover. So I'm going to fold it over in a couple of places. So you can see here the complete width of my paper, and I'm going to score at 4 1/4 and then 8 1/2. And that's if you want it to be exactly like mine, but I would say play around with it. You might want your flap on the right to be a little bit smaller. Maybe you want it to be a little bit bigger. And so whatever you want to do with it is totally okay, and it's going to be perfect for you. Some of you might already know, but I usually have a little friend in my room with me, and that's Barkley. So he's about to come up, and I have to take a little time out. Can I get up? Oh, he's such a sweet boy. We're almost done. Okay, go. I'm going to go ahead and freestyle and hand cut out a little notch on the edge here. I feel like when it's just straight, it's kind of a little cumbersome to pull pieces in and out, and I think that the notch really helps with that. Life is full of different seasons, right? The Bible tells us that there's a season for everything, and I think that it's the same with crafting or creating. Making art, whatever art you do make. I think that it happens, and you'll notice if you're anything like me that there's days where I am very into distressing. There's other times where I'm very much into painting. There's other seasons where I'm into binding. Whatever it is right now, my season is definitely into distressing and making things look old. And that was kind of I knew two things with this journal. I wanted it to look old, weathered, torn, like it had been in many hands for many years, and I wanted it to be small so that when I was creating, I could create something quickly. And I wanted it to not have so many pages, because what ends up happening is I make these huge journals, and maybe you're in the same boat as I am. I'd love to know down in the comments. Let me know if you feel this as well. But sometimes I make these journals and they have 20 pages times 4, so whatever, 80 That's 80 sides that you then have to decorate. And so that can become overwhelming. It's kind of the same idea of the white page. It can be debilitating and make you feel like you don't want to work in it because it's too big of a project. So this is a great thing to do when you're feeling like that. Make something that's small. It has very little pages, and you'll be able to finish it quickly and have a great end result. Also, I wanted to say really quickly, what you saw me doing there is I had my center line where my journal cover was folded. And then what I did is I took it and lined it up on my scoreboard, and I scored at, I believe it's a 1/4 inch or one little notch, and I did 3 to each side. So I did 3 to the right and 3 to the left. And this gives me a expanding spine so that my journal can grow, because I know off the bat that I love adding a lot of ephemera and a lot of little pieces. And so to kind of avoid a full gator opening, which I'm not opposed to, I like that as well, but this spine is really accommodating with that and allows you to add more yummy ephemera. I wanted to show you how I build a signature, and I think this is a very simple way to add a lot of dimension in your journal without putting a lot of stress on it. So I get asked a lot about staggering pages and how I decide what's going to go where. And so here I'm going to show you a method that you can use in your next journal. So my formula is taking my middle piece of paper, or whatever you want in the middle, and that is going to be the biggest piece inside of my little journal. So in my case, I want it to be able to peek up on the top, the bottom, and the right hand side. And so if you don't want to do that, then you can make yours smaller, but regardless, that's going to be the biggest page that you have, and then it's going to waterfall. So the next page is going to be a little smaller, and then a little smaller, and you get it. And that way, when you open up your journal, it has a kind of waterfall effect, and you can see all of the yummy layers of papers that are nestled inside of your journal. This method really is foolproof because you don't have to make a commitment to score anything. You can, as you're going to see here, you can just start molding the paper around the signature that you've already started to create, and then you can decide what you want to cut off, what you want to fold, and it really makes it super easy. At this point, I started thinking about that ledger paper and how much I loved it. So I'm going to take the top piece that we had cut off of the cover, and I'm actually going to wrap it around and make another piece for my signature. I was taking a tennis lesson once, and I was on a team. And if you're an adult that has done team tennis, you know, it can be a lot. But I was practicing and they kept getting me on the same spot over and over. Well, twice. And the coach stopped and he yelled at me words that I can't say on here. But he was like, if I was your teammate, I would be so angry with you because you let that happen twice in a row. And you know what? As mortified as I was when that happened, there are words that have really stuck to me. Maybe it's trauma, but I do think about that. And so in this case, if you guys caught my last journal that I made, I did not clip my pages together before binding and it was a mess. And so I'm not going to let that happen a second time. And so this time I am going to put some binder clips in before I poke any holes. The other great thing about this method of making a quick and easy journal is that since we are using just cardstock, and if I did not tell you that, my cover and the first page, which is also, you know, the other part of the cover, are 110-pound cardstock. The rest of it is, I think, it's between 22 and 28-pound copy paper, but it's just regular copy paper. And what's really great about this is that you don't have to make a template. You can put it all together and poke the holes because they'll go right through all of the layers. And you're going to see that I do not measure. I am going to guesstimate where I think the center is, and then I'm going to go up a certain amount, and I'm going to try to do the same at the bottom. And I'm going to poke 3 holes, and I'm going to do the simplest pamphlet stitch, and that's really it. It does not have to be so complicated. And for me, binding was the scariest part of journaling, and I still get thrown into that. I look at some journalers that make absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, intricate binding, and I'm like, I get like kind of nervous about it. Like I want to try that, but I'm so nervous. And the thing is, I want to release you from that because it's just thread, it's just holes. You can redo it. Let's say you poked out a bunch of holes and you don't want them, just reinforce the middle of your pages. Use some beautiful washi. Maybe make some of that aged tape that I showed you guys how to make, or even the fabric tape that I showed you guys to make. I'll link all of those videos in the description, but I just want to encourage you not to be scared. Just go and play. Because sometimes it's that fear that stops us from getting to the next level, from having that full enjoyment. And today, instead of decorating the cover, which I sometimes do, I'm going to decorate the first page and look out for my reels or my YouTube shorts, and I will be decorating pages in this book. So if you aren't already subscribed, this is a great time to subscribe and to make sure that you hit that bell so that you get notified anytime a video comes out so you don't miss out. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of the process in quiet, just listening to some yummy paper ASMR. And I want to thank you so much for being here. I thank you for all of your love and your support, even when we don't agree. I appreciate you taking the time and leaving me a comment. Also, that really helps my channel, and you guys have helped it grow more than I can even tell you, and I appreciate you so much for that. Also, don't forget, you are beautiful. You're special, you're talented, and you matter. Your voice is heard, and you are loved so much. And don't forget that, my friend. Until next time, love you. Bye.